What is success? Ralph Waldo Emerson said it best. His famous quote said, "To laugh often and much, to win the respect of intelligent people and the affection of small children, to earn the appreciation of honest critics and endure the betrayal of false friends, to appreciate the beauty of nature, to find the best in others, to leave the world a little better, whether by a healthy child, a garden patch, or a redeemed social cause. To know even one life has breathed easier because you have lived. This is to have succeeded." I was thinking about success, and I had some mosaics I took to somewhere, and she didn't want them, and I felt like such a failure. I felt like, I have all these mosaics around here that I can't get rid of. And I thought, boy, I feel like such a failure. And then I started thinking about it. Albert Einstein, there's a quote by Albert Einstein that says, "Don't try to be successful, try to give value." And I thought about it, and I thought the one thing I have done in my life recently that really was something of value was my hand-painted walkway that I did in 2017. Just after 2017, in January, I was diagnosed with stage 4 head and neck cancer. And so most of that year was spent having surgeries and radiation and chemo, and it was pretty intense and it was pretty tough. But I found in November, I think it was November, I had a scan that was clear, and although my doctors were not very encouraging, I felt great. And my scan was clear, so I wanted to do something to build my strength. I weighed 92 pounds. And I was pretty much stuck because I was so skinny. I still had my port in that gave me fluid, I was still using it for a feeding tube at that point, I think. And, but I wasn't gaining any weight, but I wanted to live. I felt like I had been dying for the last year. And so I needed to finish my walkway, and so I had all these pavers that I started painting. And I painted them first as a way to gain physical strength. I just painted them, and then I've always been fond of positive quotes or sayings, and I thought, now that might be something fun to do, put cool sayings on them. And so I randomly and I met people during that time. I met some amazing people who were also going through the same thing as me. They were fighting cancer, or one of them was Michelle. Her and I became really close. And she passed away like 3 years later. And then there was Araya, who was 10, and she passed away about 4 years later. And Kai, who was the same age as me, and he passed away about a year after that. I was the only one with stage 4. I was the only one who was supposed to die, and I thought was going to die, and I'm the only one that survived. And let me tell you, that's not easy when you're gaining strength and you're getting stronger and your friends are dying. And so Michelle was here one day when I was painting the pavers, and she made me promise her that I would always remember her with a painted rock or a paver or some remembrance of her. And we kind of joked that day, and I'll never forget it. I said, well, as long as you remember me too, because at the time they had pretty much told me, don't get your hopes up just because you have a clear scan. Thank God I transferred to MD Anderson and got a new doctor shortly after that, and he was the first one. It was like a year and a half into it, and he gave me hope. He said, I will see you in a year and a half, and at that time, I will tell you when your cure date will be. Well, I had never heard him say that I was going to be cured, or that there was even the remotest possibility of that. But yet I kept getting stronger. I kept feeling stronger. And so the walkway was quite the journey. And as I look at my walkway today, it is something I'm still proud of. And I still have people stop. I still have strangers who come by my house. Like if somebody's walking down the street and they see it, they will stop me and ask about it, and I get to tell them the story. And basically, I'm proud of it. I mean, I learned so many things during that journey. I painted a paver for each one of my friends who didn't make it. But it's more the story of life and how we all walk our own path. We all have a walk we have to walk alone. We have one path we have to walk. Others can walk it with us, but we have to walk it alone. And I learned who I was. I learned how strong I was. I learned that I can get through grief, that I can pull myself up by my bootstraps, that I do not have to lay down and die when the whole world is turned their back on me. That I have strength inside of me that I never in a million years believed I had. Now I'm still a work in progress, and I will always be a work in progress, but I'm 100 times better today than I was back then. And I'm grateful for that. I don't ask myself if I'm successful. Every night as I lay down to go to sleep, I say a silent prayer and thank the Lord for another day. I ask myself if I was kind, if I did my best in all my endeavors, if I was a good dog mom to my little sidekick Zippy. And if I was, then that's a success for me. I don't beat myself up for things that I can't control, and I try to do better the next day. I try to give myself positive self-talk and try not to talk bad about others. I don't gossip. And I just try to do the dang thing. You know, as I think about this YouTube journey, I am really a work in progress, and I don't know how to edit, and I keep trying. I keep going on YouTube, trying to figure it out, but I'm just too old, I guess. I don't know. I keep trying and I can't figure it out, and then I get frustrated, and then I don't do videos because I feel like a fool, and I think, well, and I know it's not going to just come to me, and I practice, I get online, oh man, I feel like a ding dong. And I do have help coming who's supposed to tutor me, so hopefully, God willing, keep your fingers crossed. I am trying, and so I hope you'll keep coming back. I'm not going to give up. I'm going to keep trying, and I'm going to start sharing some of my mosaics with you. I'm going to share the walkway with you now, and I'll share the process of how I created it. It took me almost 2 years to complete it, but it gave me physical strength, and it gave me so much more than physical strength, and so much more than spiritual strength. And it's a project worth doing if anybody wants a good project to build their physical strength, emotional strength, spiritual strength. Nothing like I learned one valuable lesson when you are going through something and it's something about you and you're worried that you're going to be feeling sorry for yourself, or that's what I was so worried about. I thought, I am going to be a big whiny crybaby, and I don't want to do that. I don't want to be an idiot and make my family embarrassed that I was a crybaby and that so the surest way to not do that is to focus on other people. Find somebody else who needs you, because there's always someone worse. There's always, and I'll tell you what, I painted rocks when I was going through chemo and radiation because I knew I was going to be doing it alone. I knew that no one was going to walk with me. I was going to be doing it myself. And I knew me, and I knew I'd get wah, and I did not want to do that. Because I hadn't always shown up as the best, most stand-up human being in my life, and I did not want to leave this earth as that person. I wanted to show my family who I really was. And so I started painting rocks really as a selfish means so that I didn't focus on myself. And I had the cancer ladies pass them out at cancer support. And that one thing changed my life because it gave people a rock that they could grab. It might say hugs on it. It might say smile. And I met more people that way. And by giving them hope, it gave me hope. It kept me strong. It kept me focused on them and helping them get better. And through that, I got better. And I kept getting better. So I'm just saying, if you're going through something and you feel bad and you're feeling kind of like the world is kicking you when you're down, turn on the news. You'll find somebody who needs a little bit of positive energy. If you focus on somebody who needs your love and support more than you do that day, your problems will disappear and you'll feel better and you'll help somebody along the way. So I think that's what being a success is when you can put your troubles aside, you can focus on somebody else and help them to overcome what they're going through, and your troubles will melt. They'll melt away. So anyway, I know I kind of got off the subject, but hopefully I'm going to be editing soon, and this will all make sense and flow together like it's supposed to, and I won't look like such a goof. Anyway, have a great day. Peace, love, and rock and roll.